Boys,
Boys.
how we going?
Now, let's just take a moment of appreciation. I'm gonna give them a clap for
Yep.
the Lawrence brothers.
Yeah. Well, I think it actually made the news this week, which is good.
It did. Channel 9 News. I think it was Channel 9 News
Yeah.
Sunshine Coast or something like that. But we'll take it. Something.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. All the comments in that was just people like saying, "Oh, thank Christ, have finally got some coverage."
Man, I was watching sports the other day. They had some 4th division women's soccer team that won the premiership or something. And the Hunter brothers still didn't get it. The Lawrence brothers still didn't get it.
I thought they would have lost to the under 16 boys again.
But man, awesome effort. I mean, a major moment in Australian sport history.
Major. And motorsport has to be, you know, top 5. Like,
for sure.
Jet Lawrence 22-0, undefeated
On
rookie
debut.
season.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that. And just dominated, really. And then, crazy enough, it's his brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
And wins the 250s at the last round as well. So, fuck, what else do you say?
What else do you say? I mean, it's just an amazing feat. And, yeah, wish them all the best going forward.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing from, it looks to be a super humble family. And it's amazing how they stay so competitive with each other, but then it just drives them to do more.
So when's Hunter going to go up to the 450s?
I think, like, next season.
Oh. But Jet,
I believe.
that's going to be good to see.
I could be wrong. But yeah, they will end up, being against each other at one point. So there's going to be some good rivalries there when Hayden Deegan rolls up as well. So
Did you watch the race at all?
I've watched only highlights so far.
I mean, it's impossible to find it viewing, I suppose, in
Yeah.
Australia, so it makes it hard for us. So
Yeah. So obviously, Jet went 1-1, and then I know Joe Shimoda went 1-1 for the 250s. Japanese rider, very very talented.
there you go.
It's interesting. The 250 field at the moment, everyone looks at AMA and they just think it's just all Americans, and it's still a lot of it is. But like for the last round, it went Japan, American, France, American, Aussie. In the 250s. So the French always have a big showing in motocross, and even Des Nations. If anyone's not familiar with that's basically the World Cup of motocross. So you ride as your country, and you got 3 riders. And France, I think, won it a couple of years in a row, even maybe in 3 years in a row. Like they're legit motocross riders. The Euros are these days, but like Americans dominated for so many years with Carmichael and Stewart and Villapoto. But, it's been the reign of the Euros. The Dutch, quick. Italians, always quick. Cairoli's like an 8-time world champion or 10-time world champion, something crazy.
Didn't you have a theory with that? How they got a lot more mixed conditions in Europe?
The Euros race mud.
Yeah.
Amazing. Because they're always in mud or deep sand, like Jeffrey Hurling's. And he's out on Lommel. It's just a sandy track, and he's going to be on the gas the whole time. So I think Americans are maybe slowly catching up, but the Euros the next level again. And then it'll be interesting in the next Des Nations how the Lawrence boys go. So hopefully, I'm sure they'll be racing, and then how the big test is when Jet goes over and races all those Euros now.
Yeah.
But 22-0.
Yeah.
Congratulations! It is incredible effort. Incredible.
Yeah.
And same with Hunter. I can't forget him.
Yeah, 100%. There'd be some parties going on over there right now.
Bloody oath. That's a bucket list though. Going to Des Nations for the motocross.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Add it on the list.
Yeah, write that down for sure. Especially supporting the Aussies. It's always a big turnout, especially if they go to like France. The French know how to party and do all that out in Ernie. It's a different motocross track, but very cool. Their tracks are next level. The Euros.
Yeah.
Understated. But yeah, that's crazy. Great effort.
Bloody oath.
Yeah.
Well, F1's on the weekend as well.
Yeah.
So, and wow, what an interesting race that was.
Sea of Orange.
Sea of Orange. Good to see the crowd. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Bloody oath. And it was like it put on like a bit of a bipolar Melbourne weather that weekend.
Wow, man.
Whatever.
It's that rain coming down at the end of the race was some of the heaviest rain.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, it's fucking raining hard. We can see it on the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
But a couple of things to take out. I couldn't believe when I saw this stat today. It was the most ever overtakes in a Formula One race ever.
What?
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they set a new record. So, which was crazy. Max just absolute domination. Like we talked about this before the pod.
Yeah.
He was 13 seconds behind Perez when it all sort of started to settle down after they went on wet tires, and with blink of an eye,
6 laps or something, he just caught back up.
Yeah, he just dominates. He dominates. It's the track, it's the car, it's the driver. So.
But, you know, it's obviously the best car out there, but he's making Perez look like a nuffy, and they're in the same car.
Yeah.
He's different kettle of fish, Max.
Liam Lawson made his debut. Unfortunately, poor Ricciardo.
Yeah.
Looked like a nasty accident, like going into the wall, sort of that steering wheel sort of snapped back when he hit the wall and just
didn't let go of it.
Yeah, cracked his hand. So looks like he's going to be out for Monza today. So AlphaTauri have come out and said that Liam Lawson will have another crack at it. So
yeah,
I was watching qualifying, and Liam Lawson came out for his first lap. So he hadn't had practice 1 or 2. Only had practice 3. It was wet.
Oh, of course.
His first lap on slicks was out in qualifying.
Fuck.
So, which was just, I mean, and there was one, like, you just had to, get through that dry line. So,
talk about getting thrown in the deep end.
Man,
jeez,
man, and you know what? He finished ahead of Sonoda, which is a great effort in the end.
Wow. Did he have penalties? Did he end up getting a couple penalties?
Yeah, he got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Did you see Perez? He hit the wall going. Perez hit the wall going to the pit lane, and then couldn't stop the car, so he was speeding in the pit lane. Got the 5-second penalty, and then so he pitted, and he didn't need to pit. It's a red flag.
Yeah.
At the end of the race,
right,
so if he just stayed out, he would have finished a comfortable second. So,
yeah.
But yeah, interestingly, I just couldn't believe at the start of the race, no one just ducked in for wet tires. Like it was spitting the rain on the formation lap. It was bringing me back.
No one put the gamble on.
Yeah, and it was putting me back to Nürburgring in 07 when Marcus Winkelhock pitted on the formation lap, put full wets on. And then he went around and was one lap, and then it started bucketing down. Everyone went off, and then he was leading the race.
There you go.
On debut.
That's a cool
So
one.
why wouldn't Liam Lawson come in, put a set of wets on, see how you go?
When you got nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Or like a Williams driver or something like that.
So yeah, results in the end. So obviously Verstappen won. Alonso second, and then a real surprise, Pierre Gasly in third. So that's good for Alpine, and I think
Dan's boy.
Yeah, Alpine's been
double points for them.
Did you pick that last week?
Oh, I picked him a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember if I picked him again this week.
Crystal ball was, I don't know. There's something in that, like you just
maybe.
Think, but
you're channeling Tom.
Yeah,
I think
Tom's crystal balls.
I think I've handed over the rein. I think I've handed the rein over. But yeah, there was a couple of things that I couldn't believe Mercedes completely fucked that up at the start of the race. They were like 16th really and 17th. Russell just did not have a go of it the whole time. Another thing to take out of the race, the wet tires completely useless.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that? Because it from the outsider, it is soon as they go onto wets, they're going to call the race. So what's the point?
Yeah, don't have them.
So Ocon pitted for wet tires. Full wet tires, the only one to it, was lost a handful of seconds. When it actually finally started to rain and the wet tire came back, he would have looked really good. Boom, red flag.
Yeah.
So they are really useless. They can't put them through the tire warmers, so that's a big issue. So they're cold coming out of the pits.
Yeah.
And that's the new regulation for this year. So, but yeah, I mean, they are useless. So
you're gonna have to sort that out. And it's just it's just because of the aquaplaning, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you see, obviously, what's his name? Alfa Romeo slam into into the wall. You know, it's another thing. Logan Sargent went off.
Yeah.
I don't know what is like an unforced error, almost like an unforced crash. But I don't really remember seeing many of them lately in F1. There's not really any kind of unforced error crashes where someone just makes a mistake and then slams into the wall.
Yeah.
Besides Monaco.
Yeah.
But like in a proper circuit. Where I feel like that used to be more common, but now, I don't know, obviously just more on rails, but...
Interestingly, it actually came out today that he had power steering failure.
Oh, fuck, there you go.
So, but yeah, it's true. It's a really good point.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the last couple of races. I'm like, no one's just gone off and just ran wide and whatever.
It's so funny. These cars are so on the knife's edge as well. So one little mistake, they you just lose it so hard. There's so much downforce. You know, obviously with the ground effect cars.
And you need to have the speed and everything to put that all into play.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be pussy farting around there.
What did you guys think of Red Bull's strategy pitting Verstappen first?
Correct.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I know.
Dude's undefeated in his home race.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you favour him?
I know, and he absolutely dominated the weekend.
Was that a media beat up though?
100%.
Or did Perez come out and say anything?
Yeah, Perez on the radio said, "Why am I getting undercut by Verstappen?"
But yeah, did he say anything after the race?
Not that I read.
Because it's just a media beat up. Like
Perez started 7th, had a terrible qualifying session, got lucky and was leading the race, and then now they expect him to because he's leading the race. Let's favour
crazy.
him. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And the commentators who James didn't like, which I didn't mind actually.
Nah, where was Martin Brundle?
He's only there for about 14 races a year, 12 races a year. He's not there every weekend. So
missed him. Missed him.
So, but they had I forgot her name, but she used to be the head strategist for Force India.
Yes.
And she was on commentary with special comments, and I really enjoyed that. She was saying she went back into the radio comms and everything as the race was going, and then she had her input, which I really enjoyed. She was saying that they did call Max in. Max didn't ask to come into the pits. They called him in. So, I mean, obviously it came from the head. But, of course, like, geez.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to go for a record, too.
Yeah.
100%.
And he's not, like... Perez hasn't performed this year. He doesn't deserve to have the...
No, that's right.
Have the calls again with him. So if the championship was neck and neck, yes, this would be much more of a story. But he's dominating. Yeah. So, and he was going to pass him anyway. Perez might have done some fucking stupid move and knocked them both out. So
that's right.
Why wouldn't you? Like,
and
it happened for years with Hamilton and Bottas as well.
It was on a whole different level, as you said. It touched on. It was 12 seconds and it went down to 2 seconds in the gap in 6 laps or something ridiculous. Like he just put the burners on and can catch him. So it's just it's craziness. What's Perez's contract situation like?
Yeah, he's got next year.
So he's got next year.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But the thing is with Red Bull, they can just demote anyone to their second team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, they've come out this week as well and said that... Actually, I might have heard this as a rumour, so I'll keep my source close to my chest, that the AlphaTauri next year is going to be major sponsored by Hugo Boss.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be Hugo Boss F1.
Interesting.
Which I think will be cool.
That's so dope.
It's rumours at this stage. I haven't had full confirmation on that. But it is interesting because Hugo Boss is a clothing company versus AlphaTauri, which is Red Bull's clothing company. So
that's right.
I don't know how that's going to go, but...
Maybe there's a collab or something coming.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe 100%.
That's such an F1 sponsor, as Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most F1
Like, how
sponsor
cool is
ever.
that going to look? I'm imagining like a black car with like silver Hugo Boss on the side of it.
Or even gold.
Yeah.
Like a JPS.
Yeah.
Ooh, now you got me bloody all hot and sweaty.
All right.
that ain't easy.
Well, how good was the old JPS? We'll save it for us two, Daniel.
Yeah.
But the old JPS.
Oh, you guys are in for a treat in 2 weeks' time. It's going to be just these two on the pod. Interestingly, Aston Martin and Hugo Boss has a
That's their
yeah.
where
So Red Bull in talks with Hugo Boss for AlphaTauri F1 team. So, but you're right. The colours actually do look very similar to the old JPS Lotus.
Yeah.
That.
Oh man, imagine that. Like Kimi Raikkonen raced for him that Lotus back in 2010. They had the JPS colours.
Great, cool.
Yeah,
he actually won a
true.
few races on that car.
Didn't he come second or third in the championship in that car?
Funny story about that. He came back from rallying and to go into that team, and they paid him per point.
Yeah,
that's right.
Did we talk about that? Have we talked about that?
No, I think it was before or after a pod.
Man, they paid per point, and it almost put Lotus broke.
Yeah.
So
that's such a mid story.
Yeah, he finished like third in the championship, and they were like, you can imagine that in the head office, like, oh my god, because Lotus is a small British company, and they almost put them broke from the contract. So
that's one of the best looking cars, that Raikkonen one.
Yeah, it probably wasn't like in memory, no, but you're looking back at it, I think you're right. It is a really good looking car. But they were not they weren't very good designs back then because they had this funny little drop nose. You remember that?
I remember.
So
Step
they were like ugly years for F1s, but
They go through that F1. That's the cool thing about the sport. Is it can be so radical. Remember the F1 car? I think it was Jody Scheckter back in the day, back in the 70s or 80s. They had 2 wheels. They had 6 wheels.
Six-wheeler, yeah.
six-wheeler,
Man,
yeah, they had a fan car, so
sick.
someone put a big fan on the back of the
on the
car.
back of
That got banned.
that's a great thing about it. Is just constantly, that innovation.
Yeah, well, I suppose because MotoGP they look different. They look different, but essentially they are the same looking bikes throughout the year. So it is a cool thing about F1.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as it used to be though. Like some cars used to look completely different.
Yeah.
The problem was then, like we look at, I mean, I can't really say they were more dominant back then because obviously Verstappen's dominating so much this year. But you look at that 1988 season where they won every single race bar one.
Yeah.
That's what happens when, obviously they had different technology. Then following into the years after that, they had things like ride height devices like MotoGP have, and they all got banned because one team can innovate this amazing feature in the car and then absolutely blow them out of the water. So
It was like Mercedes with their steering.
On
the brakes where it would move and stuff like that.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, what was that called? The DAS system or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Power system or something.
Yeah, we should know that, but anyway, can't know everything.
Yeah.
Can't
Fake fans.
fake fans. Yeah.
Only into it because the drive to survive.
Yeah, that's it.
Just pulling Jody Scheckter out of my ass.
Very good. Very good. Boys, anything to touch on F1? Anything you saw during the week that the listeners might want to know about?
I just had a note. I thought Carlos actually raced all right.
Yeah, that great point.
I thought he actually did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ferrari fucked the other strategies up.
Oh,
which,
man, again.
like we were talking about before.
We
it's
don't
just-
even,
you don't even want to talk
about it anymore.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
just-
I'm like over it.
It's just like death, taxes, and Ferrari fucking the strategy.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just, yeah.
But yeah, really, it was really pleasing to see Carlos actually have a good race and
Yeah.
fight hard those last few laps with Lewis as well.
Yeah.
I thought he did really well to fend him off. And
Yeah.
finish 5th.
Yeah.
I think just missed out on that 5-second
Yeah,
penalty for Perez.
He
as
did,
well,
yeah. It was a couple of seconds. Yep.
But yeah, that was one thing I took out of the race. Obviously, Gasly as well. They did awesome. And Alonso, fastest lap, driver of the day. I thought he raced awesome.
Where did Alonso qualify? I can't remember.
I was 4th.
4th, okay.
Yeah, he qualified, or 3rd or 4th. He qualified up there.
No, wasn't Albon 4th?
Yeah, it must have been 3rd then. Yeah.
No, it was Max, George, Lando, or Max, Lando, George.
Yeah, 5th then.
Yeah, it must
Yeah,
be 5th.
yeah. Sorry, good call.
Um,
Man, Alex Albon, he's such in form at the moment.
he's
Man,
smashing
isn't
it,
he
eh?
on that fucking car?
Oh, they're actually interesting. They came out today that Red Bull have actually stolen a design off Williams this year,
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
right.
and the ex-head of tech in Mercedes actually is now the team principal at Williams. Should know this as well, but
Get up in the blower.
yeah, have to.
Oh, old mate.
Yeah, him.
Isn't his name James as well?
Yeah, James.
Hey, represent. There's only like a billion of us.
Yeah, that's right.
James Vowles.
That's it.
Very, very, very smart individual, and believed to be a very important, integral part of those years at Mercedes, those winning years at the Mercedes. So now he's taking everything that he's learned and also has up here to this Williams team, being British himself.
Yeah.
And apparently improved out of sight. Like they've gone from this team where it's like there's no professionalism. He's like got everyone in line. So really good things.
It's awesome
ahead.
to see, and you can actually see it.
Good for F1 if Williams is
Man.
up there because they've got an amazing history.
Williams, like McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, they're all pretty good at the moment. Like it's a really golden year of F1. It's just
is.
Max is dominating.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're just saying this, if Max wasn't dominating, the championship's actually
Oh,
incredible.
It shows the
Wicked.
first 6 qualifiers with 6 different teams. Like
Yeah.
that's not F1 at all.
No, it's
And
great
obviously
to
mixed
see.
conditions and stuff, but it was completely dry for Q3.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
good. I'd love to see Williams back up there again. And they've had
Yeah.
incredible drivers over the years. Like,
course,
they're
yeah.
No,
Absolutely.
they're no joke.
They've
but-
been known for the last few years to more have the up and coming drivers coming through.
Yeah. George Russell came from
Yeah.
Williams, yeah.
So did Bottas.
Yep. Yeah, Bottas and a few others.
But you get them back up there again. But
But it's interesting. Albon's come out and said, like, look, if Williams can provide me a car like they have, I'm happy to stay with the team.
I think less pressure for him too from Red.
Yeah.
from what he was copping at Red Bull.
You know what? I know this is going to sound crazy. He probably performed just as good as Perez performed.
Probably.
Like, Gasly was shocking. Like, he was seconds behind Verstappen every single race. Terrible. Like, and he came out of the Toro Rosso in a really good year before that. So.
Yeah. And Albon was stiff a few times too. Like, Hamilton fucking hit him out of podium.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
So, yeah, it's fair. That's actually not a bad call.
Yeah. You were touched on earlier that Hamilton, he's just
He's a cockroach.
He's a cockroach.
Man, you can't kill him.
Yeah.
He just, when you think he's down and
cockroach
out.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
When you think he's down and out, he always just comes to be, back up top six.
He was on
the podium.
The wrong tyres at one point.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, he's a pain in the ass, but fuck, he's good.
Yeah.
He's so good. That's what the greats do, though. They're never out.
No.
That's right.
They
find a way.
They just find a way. And again, like, he was, 16th at one stage or something like that?
Yeah, 16th.
And just, I don't know. He just came back and, again, I blinked and he was, top 6, top 7 or whatever it was.
He got stuck behind... He got stuck behind Sainz for the most of that last bit of the race as well.
Yeah.
As in stuck behind him, even passing through traffic and stuff. So... I just can't believe that race had the most amount of overtakes in history, being such a tight circuit as well.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, nuts. I actually like it as a circuit too. I think it's
a
great race.
Those banked corners and it's so cool to have something different.
Yeah.
Like you go to Spa, you see Eau Rouge or Adion, it's just different corners. That's what makes it so good. Like even Phillip Island, that last corner at Phillip Island, they say it has the highest tyre temperature of the whole year.
Yeah.
Because they're on that side for that so long time.
Yeah, so punishing.
Yeah.
And the fans were amazing. I noticed that the Austrian crowd and the Dutch crowd, they've had I think they had Martin Garrix or something in the crowd.
Yeah, he was waving the flag.
Yeah.
Well, Martin Garrix and Verstappen are good mates.
Oh, there you go. But the crowd was
and up then Andre Rieu.
Did that? Was that him? Was that him?
Yeah, Andre Rieu.
He's still kicking, is he?
He was doing the... But bro, how cool was that at the start of the race?
Bro.
It's seriously I love how they did that because it was modern tech music.
Yeah.
Versus Andre Rieu coming on. It was two worlds meeting and it worked so good, perfectly.
Man, it was pissing down and no hate to the Aussies, but if it was pissing down Australia, everyone would be fucking gone.
Yeah.
All the Dutch were fucking singing along and in the crowd. You see that in Assen MotoGP, they're die hard.
And they haven't had success in Formula One before.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, that's right.
So it is crazy.
Man, the fans were going nuts.
I love how they got a color as well. I love that. It's all orange. They're like that in every sport. The soccer, they wear orange jerseys. It's just their thing, So I love that. We don't really have that as Australia. Green and gold maybe, but...
I reckon a little bit.
Yeah, we're not going to go to the F1s and wear green and gold, though, because then you'll...
Nah, I guess that's his color as well.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It helps that it's Max color.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But then you also look like you're the McLaren fans.
Yeah.
Papaya colour.
Yeah. It's a fine line. We'll just go there in Motorsport Republica merch.
An all orange t-shirt would actually look alright, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like an orange hoodie. That'd be fucking sick, actually.
But yeah, we've got Monza this weekend. It's bloody old mate's bloody hometown.
Yeah.
So we're excited for that.
So is it a double header, Monza and Catalunya?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, it's a big weekend. Next, not take nothing away from this podcast. We can, a lot of good things being talked about, but next weekend's going to be
it'll be huge. What's to go? I know we don't want to touch on it with Charles. We're going into Monza. He's had a fucking terrible year.
Something will give. He'll come out and dominate or something. It's I reckon it'll be either all or nothing.
I don't know about that one. They haven't got the top speed either. So
I know. Maybe I'm falling into the trap of this Monza curse.
You know what it is? It's the fucking Italian coming out of him again.
Yeah, well...
It's the blood's rushing to the head.
Yeah, he'll put Beethoven back on again, whatever that song was. Mario's Beethoven.
Oh, his neighbour.
But yeah, it's a spectacle. Man, what a weekend this weekend. It's crazy. They're not
Two
normal.
great tracks.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're going to have MotoGP earlier like they usually do? Because I think they actually came out with a schedule this week.
Catalunya is never normally on this late. It's normally after Mugello.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it?
It's normally before the break, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bro, how hot's it going to be there?
Yeah, it's
It's like 40 degrees in Spain at the moment.
And the Euros love, like, you know, sitting in the grandstand shirtless. It's so fun.
Yeah. Ciggies and shit.
Yeah, they love it. And the Japs love ciggies.
They love crumbling under pressure too. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, can we
get held up at a bank?
Have they got a Mazzano test coming up as well?
I think so.
Right. What would they be testing?
Like carbon swing arms, mop.
Excuse me? What am I, a mop?
You know what I said.
Can you get the...
Time's up.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it up here. I just want to...
For MotoGP or F1?
The MotoGP race. I want to see if it's... interesting. It's on at 10.
That's normal time.
Yeah, but they normally have it an hour early. So MotoGP is going to go straight into F1's because F1's going to start 10 minutes later. 10 minutes.
Fuck yeah.
10 minutes after. So
Perfect.
Man, clear your schedules.
Oh man,
Goodness.
Sunday night.
That's a long night.
Yeah, that is a long night.
That's a 3-hour night. Well, no, plus Moto 2, Moto 3.
Yeah,
you're going to be sitting down from 7 p.m. until 1 a.m.
Perfect. Sunday night. We've got it so good.
Bro, where else would you rather be?
Australia has got it. We actually have it the best because you know.
I'd rather F1 1 hour earlier though.
Yeah, you're right. It is 1 hour too late. MotoGP is literally perfect.
Yeah, because you got no one annoying you. You don't have to do anything. You got no christenings or birthdays or bar mitzvahs.
You're not missing it for a Sunday up.
L'chaim. Sorry, Gertie.
Is that where they cut off the skin, the bar mitzvah?
No, it's at birth. They put their head in the... Oh, we don't talk about this.
That's religion. Yeah. Public What is it? The circumcision.
The Church of the Latter-day Republicans. Anyway. But you know what? They usually have MotoGP earlier, but I think this year they actually said at the start. Oh, I'm doing my Donald Trump. They said at the start. They said at the start of the year that they're not changing the schedule all year. It's always going to be MotoGP last. So that's what I heard. But I thought MotoGP was second.
Yeah, Silverstone MotoGP is always second, I believe.
Was last year I think, or the year before Le Mans was second.
Yeah, because when they clash with F1s, they always do it. And it works out really well because Moto 2's on when F1s are on.
Yeah.
But obviously it's early enough, so...
Oh, that's going to be perfect.
Did you guys see the kit Ferrari's running?
Yeah, the yellow.
Looks dope.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, it looks good. But what's the yellow represent? Like, it's red, isn't Ferrari red?
It's an Italian thing, isn't it? With Ducati and Ferrari?
It's because Ducati do it as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is exactly, but I love it. I reckon it looks sick.
Yeah, because then when they had their, was it the 100th year anniversary? Didn't we have the car? Do we have the car there? Yeah. That's yellow. That's the same yellow, isn't it?
The merch for that last year was sick.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not a big special edition merch fan though. I don't know what it is. I'd rather just buy the actual merch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Depends. It's funny because I'm actually tossing up at the moment. They got a Gasly Monza cap.
Okay.
It's just all white with the Italian flag.
Yep.
And I think it might have the date on when he won.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
crazy race that was.
That's pretty sick.
That's cool.
It's like a one-off.
Yeah.
I'd rather just have his normal
hat. Yeah, that's a hard one.
But I know what you mean. It's always hard. I mean, like championship stuff, you probably buy. Like I got the Verstappen championship hat. Yeah, I got the Pecco shirt.
Yeah.
But championship stuff is the best stuff.
I think didn't we used to have like a Marquez one?
There's a Marquez one.
Yeah.
And now they're starting to roll through the championship helmets.
Yeah, which
like
is
the
sick.
Pecco one,
the
Mir.
Pecco shouldn't be hopefully not too far away.
Yeah, that's right. You've ordered that one. That'll be sick. That'll be very sick.
But yeah.
Just going back onto it with Charles, real quick.
Charles.
Is he going to stay with Ferrari if this keeps happening?
Man, you know what? I reckon I really do see him at Mercedes replacing Hamilton. Because I seriously think Charles is one of the most talented drivers on the grid.
And he came from...
He's just been forgotten about.
Yep. It was Sauber?
He came Sauber? Bro, that year when he was at Sauber, bro, he was finishing 7th every single race. It was Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari, the top 6, and he was the best of the rest every single race.
Yeah.
He was amazing that year.
Great year.
Bro, that was one of the most memorable years that I've ever seen a driver who was in a shit car go really well. Yeah. Albon's probably doing the same thing this year, but I mean, Logan Sargent qualified in Q3 this weekend. So obviously the Williams is becoming a bit better. But his teammate, Marcus Ericsson that year, well done, Dan. He was nowhere near Charles. So...
And he'd already been in that seat for a year before that, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Ericsson.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
He looks like he's completely lost faith in that Ferrari in the team. But it's just, and I don't want to get into it, but
he's come out today and spoken about like, where are you going to be at Ferrari? And he goes, I don't want to talk about that right now. Sometimes you just need to sign a contract like early in the year and just get it done, and then you can concentrate on it.
Yeah, that's right. And then just race.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Wasn't he linked to Aston Martin? Or am I thinking things?
Yeah, I mean, you could see that happening, but like, I don't know I don't know if... I think Alonso is going one more year.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Awesome.
Did you see the snippets of Alonso with that interview? He
yes.
had all like no holds bars interview.
Yeah, laid it all out.
Bro, they were talking about why he's not married with no kids, and like, is that a sacrifice he's made? And,
oh wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because there was a big mystery about his crash in 2014 when he went to McLaren. And the pre-race test, he had this massive accident, and he was out for 2 races.
And they think he lost his memory.
Yeah, and they think he did lose his memory.
Yeah.
And they reckon he got an electrical shock.
Sorry, yes.
And because the new hybrid technology, but they have never said anything.
What?
And I don't know in the interview if I think he just said he span out and hit the wall, but because he went to, like, it was just a normal crash. No, and all the footage has been like erased and shit.
Bro, that's like what movies are made of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's this conspiracy that like...
I love a conspiracy.
It was like Benjamin Button or whatever. Like,
yeah.
He went back in time and body of a 40-year-old thinks he's still 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson.
I'd go higher than my voice. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's absolutely nuts, I think.
Yeah, but I think they asked him about it, but that would have been like bombshelling if he said what actually happened, because there's no way he just span out and hit the wall and he was out like he got knocked out.
Yeah.
They know he got knocked out somehow, so...
Fuck.
Yeah, it was an interesting watch, though. It was good. I watched a couple snippets of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I love those one-on-one interviews. No bullshit. Not going to be sexist here, but usually a male asking the questions, because the females, they always seem to go into like, their party lifestyle, and just they don't get into like the real nitty-gritty stuff. Yeah. So...
Especially if it's an ex-racer asking
100%, because they feel more at ease
and they
talking
know
about
more insights.
Like some of the best interviews is Martin Brundle. Like when he interviewed Lewis Hamilton, they were watching back. That was cool. Like,
Yeah, stuff like that's mad.
Yeah, 100%.
It was just good to see Fernando do something like that too.
Yeah. Well, I watched his. He had a documentary series on Amazon about when he went to Dakar and won the Dakar Rally. But it was all in Spanish, and you just can't get it.
You can't get into it.
You can't get into it as much when it's.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Did you see? He's an animal in the car. Like, he's so good.
Oh, you can't hate him.
No.
Like, you saw on the restart. Classic example of the restart is, like, he got up right up. Like, no one gets close to Verstappen on restarts. He's the king of restarts. Perez was fucking yeeting four lengths back. Like, standard.
Doing a Maverick Vinales.
But everyone does that. Like, he's just the king of restarts. He just knows exactly when to go. Doesn't get any wheel spin. But he just held the difference between those drivers.
That's right.
And he's going to be a big loss for F1 when he finally gives it up.
Yeah, it was funny when after that restart and the podium chat, he was like, I was thinking about a move, but I also wanted to leave the track with my life.
Yeah.
The fans, I thought that was pretty funny.
But he would be the only person on the grid who could make a move, crash into Verstappen, and everyone would still have respect for him.
Yeah.
Like anyone else on that.
Yeah. Imagine it was Hamilton. He wouldn't have made it over the barrier.
Yeah.
The fans would have charged.
Man, I would have jumped out and give him a fucking crack. Little one.
Maybe we should do marshal job at MotoGP this year. Just in case Marquez comes off and just... Yeah.
Bro, I got a funny story about that. I don't know if you remember that. We were at turn 1 and we heard one of the marshals go, "Oh, boys!" And it was just like two like, fat guys, like they couldn't hack it. They were like laying down. Yeah. Like, "Get the fuck up, boys!" And he was like yelling at him, and like it was like a crowd watching this marshal.
The two marshals were sitting on their
Right,
ass,
like sunbaking.
Yeah, they were sunbaking, like drinking water, and like I don't know, had a banana or something. And then the head marshal goes, "Boy, get up! What are you doing?" They like get up. They're like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Man, some corners at GP as well, there would be no accidents. Like there'd be some corners that they never get action. I'm trying to think. Actually, they'd probably do it every corner at Phillip Island, but there'd be corners around the world.
Yeah, for sure. Like the last corner at Texas, no one crashes in that corner.
No,
except for Loris Baz, and then he picked it back up.
Yeah, one of the best saves of all time. Yeah. Better than Marquez's save, I reckon.
Oh,
nothing.
Wouldn't even look twice at those ones.
Don't you fucking dare.
Is Marquez going to come back and be a race winner by the end of the year?
Nah, not by the end of the year.
I reckon if he's going to pull anything out, it's going to be a Spanish round. I'll saving it for this podcast to bring this up. I wouldn't say to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets like a top 6 this round in Catalunya.
Well, I think it's one of those tracks as well. What's the weakness of the Honda?
Everything.
Yeah.
But like, give me an example. Like, would you say the Yamaha's weakness is like acceleration?
Yeah, Yamaha
and straight line speed.
Honda's is probably the fact that you actually just can't control it.
Yeah, like you can't tip it in.
It's just unrideable.
Yeah, it doesn't turn and it doesn't exit.
Because Quartararo won last year.
Yeah.
At Barcelona. So last year, can you correct me if I'm wrong? Was Aleix Espargaro winning and he fucking celebrated one lap too early, or was he second?
Second.
No,
he wasn't winning.
I thought he was.
No.
Nah, he was on a podium, wasn't he?
Yeah, because Quartararo.
And he lost the podium.
Yeah.
was off to the races.
Because Quartararo a year before that was leading, but he had his fucking armor came off, didn't he? Or the zip.
Should have got black flag for that.
Yeah, the zip got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ripped his.
Not Dainese leathers though.
No,
if it was Dainese leathers, they wouldn't have ripped.
No, not at all.
Maybe they would have.
Maybe.
Oh, you plug you guys. That's all. Not us. But it's interesting that was the Yamaha last year. Did it have these same problems that it did this year?
No.
Yeah. What is worse, you reckon, more about the Yamaha this year?
I don't think they developed.
So it's just stayed the same.
I think everyone else has just leapfrogged them in development.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's normally what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I know they just can't find that balance.
Yeah.
It's definitely much more rideable than what the Honda is.
Well, it'll be really interesting to see how Quartararo does this weekend. Because he's essentially on a very similar bike to last year, and he has been nowhere all year, and he won it last year.
The Yamaha track.
Definitely, and the reason being...
Traditionally.
Man, how many clippets have you seen of that classic races?
Yeah, 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Simon Crafar commented on the Instagram post, and he was like... there's only a couple of moments I've been jumping up and down in my lounge room watching a race, and that was the race.
I still remember it. Famously, Lorenzo said, if you're going into the last sector leading, you're winning that race.
Last corner leading, you're winning
that race. My God.
That's a big fuck you, isn't it?
It's probably on the Mount Rushmore of best overtakes of all time. Top 4.
I mean, I think if you just saw the overtake from just a snippet and with no context, you'd be like, "That's a really good overtake." But the context of it was the last lap of the race.
The helicopter shot, you see Rossi lose his front tire. It starts slipping.
Yeah,
it's fucking incredible. And then when Lorenzo was like talking shit before the race, and it was like deep into the Rossi Lorenzo fucking saga. Yeah, he was talking about the sector.
Yeah.
Oh. God, that was amazing.
Wasn't Lorenzo's lane that day?
Nah, it wasn't.
Did Lorenzo win the championship that year?
No.
What was that, 09?
09. That was Rossi's.
That was Rossi, like for me, that was prime Rossi. I know he was probably earlier than that was prime for you guys, but for me watching it, that was like when Rossi was the king.
Yeah, for me, I think the most untouchable Rossi was 03.
04 Rossi's pretty tough too.
Yeah.
03 is good too.
Only because he just dominated because he was on that Repsol.
Yeah.
And I had a soft spot. I've always loved Repsol Honda. I was fucking devastated when he left.
Yeah, right. We'll have to go into that one day.
Yeah, we'll go get the
Therapist Republica. Grade 3.
Yeah. Therapy Republica.
Yeah. But like again, obviously what he did with Yamaha was incredible as well. has to be the best rider of all time to develop a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the Aussie guy, the older fella?
Jeremy Burgess.
Yeah, his input as well must have been amazing throughout the years because he joined him pretty early on, didn't he?
Yeah,
straight from Doohan.
Yeah, he was Doohan. So a lot of 80% of Rossi's team was Aussie.
Yeah,
because it was all Doohan's team.
Right.
He inherited Doohan's bike.
Did he? Did he replace Doohan at Repsol?
It was like a year out, maybe, or something like that.
After.
Right, gotcha.
Or a couple of years after, it might have been.
Yeah.
So who was on the Repsol for that year that...
Crivier and...
That's going to test you, mate. Come on. So we're talking 02?
Yeah, Thuro Yukura, something like his name. Was, Japanese rider. I'm going to look that up.
So 2002 we're talking.
Yeah, because they went on... And then 2003, I know it was Yukawa or something like that because he was number 11 on a Repsol Honda.
Oh, so they got rid of Crivier for Rossi.
He retired.
Right.
Did the sport a favour.
He's a name you don't hear much about, as in these days. Like
Toru Yukua. I was fucking right.
Well, I expected you to. You're a bloody media personality from MotoGP.
I'm pretty proud of myself for that one. He got second title, I think. Did he get second title?
So I've been thinking about this for a week, James and Dan, about Marquez and where he's going to move to and all that kind of stuff. And I was talking to Dan about this before the pod, and I'm going to say I think he owes Repsol Honda, not the other way around. I think for the last 2 seasons where he's had these injury-prone, three years, I would say, doesn't he own a portion back to them? They've been paying his salary for, and it would be the highest paid salary in the MotoGP. They've been paying his salary for the last 3 years. He's not performed, obviously, because of injuries. They haven't given him the bike either. How would you like to respond to that?
It's a great point you make. No, he doesn't owe them because he won them 8 world titles. 6 world titles for Repsol. I feel like it's a double-edged sword because people will just be like, well, if he stays on Repsol Honda, then they'll be like, well, he's just stayed on Repsol Honda. He hasn't dared to move anything else. Where it seems to be the go because Rossi started that, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then if he goes to KTM, people are going to be like, oh, he's just jumping onto a better bike and jump shit.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
But
that's just
Stoner did that.
Yeah, and there's no problem doing that.
Yeah,
I would actually like to see him jump onto a different bike.
Oh, I think everyone
That's
would.
what we want, though. We want all the better riders to be on the best bikes.
Yeah, I would love to see him develop that Repsol. It would be great if he did that and then won another title. But I think the sport actually needs him right now. I think the sport needs Marc Marquez more than Marc Marquez needs the sport.
I think that's a great point. Because the golden years for me, I'm going back to my golden years again. The Marquez battles and
Incredible.
you know I don't like Marquez.
Yeah.
Okay. But I love to see him beat.
Yeah.
And that's what's missing for me at the moment in
You
MotoGP.
you love the hurt. You love being hurt.
I love being slapped around and, called a pig and shit.
What? Is that in the bedroom?
Yeah.
But it's true. And I think he was still he's never going to be a Rossi personality, but it's still a personality.
Yeah.
And how he rode made it so interesting.
It's like, I'm going to use this as an example, UFC and WWE even. You need villains to make it interesting.
Yeah.
Boxing.
Just a rivalry. Fuck.
Yeah.
Look at Floyd Mayweather. He's the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
And he's worth billions.
Yeah, exactly.
So, look, as much as everyone hates on him, and I love him, I think the sport needs him at the moment. I think they need him to be winning because they need a poster boy, and there's no poster boy yet.
No, that's the problem.
We've talked about it, and look, it is a bit of a changing of the guard. You know, Marquez is not going to be there forever. Rossi was never there forever. Look at Biaggi. You know, you either loved him or you hated him back in the day. But I think we need Marquez to be up there. If it's on a Honda, if it's on a fucking Ducati, or if it's on a KTM or an MV Gusta.
And we need some rivalries.
Yeah. And he's going to bring it. He'll bring it to anyone.
And look, so will Fabio on the right bike.
Exactly right. And we thought that was the next big rivalry. Fabio and Marquez. And
that shaping up to be.
Yeah.
Because that all stemmed from when Fabio was on the
Petronas.
Yeah. And he outperformed that bike something terribly that year.
Yeah. Amazing.
I remember him and Aston, and they were fighting, and like I think I was like, that's a star, in the making. But yeah, it hasn't really got to that point yet.
Yeah,
because
just bikes,
injuries, COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but man, it's so hard to look back at, and we say this last week, looking back 3 years ago, how different MotoGP was, the landscape. Because, I mean, 4 years ago, I should say, since before COVID, like Marquez was dominating, Fabio was the next big thing.
Yeah.
Like, none of that is happening now.
It has.
Right.
It's just Ducati dominance. It's just the Italian Cup.
Yeah.
And no one would have thought of that.
No,
you wouldn't have.
Like, Dovizioso put everything he possibly could to win that championship that year. But yeah, who would have thought Ducati's going to come out and have a dominating bike on every track, not just the high speed ones?
Yeah. And look, it's not going to last forever. Like, Ducati have just been the smartest because they've made a bike that everyone can ride. Where Honda and they learnt their lesson from Stoner because they just made a bike for Stoner to ride. Look at Melandri.
And they got the Ducati have the best personnel.
Yeah.
They've
been amazing. Credit where credit's due.
Yeah. Yeah. Inside joke.
Yeah.
Like you look at, we'll talk about
Well, Honda passed up on Deligna.
Yeah, that's right. And they were the most arrogant team, Honda.
Yeah.
That's
the most arrogant team.
That's very Japanese.
Yeah.
No one can tell us how to build something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, they've used Suda swing arms or something like that, and
Kalex.
A Kalex, I think it was.
Are they still using a Kalex chassis, Honda?
No, I don't think so.
Right, because that was very strange, wasn't it? Like looking back at that,
for them to
outsource a chassis, and then like that hasn't even spoken about
un-Honda like.
Un-Honda like. I mean, who uses a different chassis than them?
I don't think anyone does.
No.
Yeah, that's how much turmoil there. And that's what happens.
That's a story in itself, isn't it? Like, that is a massive story.
Who was talking about that? One of the engineers, and Alberto Puig came up to it after they won the 19 title, and they were looking at the results. I think it might have been Crafer. And it was like, Marquez, 70 points ahead of everyone, and then the next best was... who was 19? Lorenzo?
Nah.
No, for next Repsol. Was it Lorenzo?
Oh, yeah, Lorenzo, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was, and he was like,
He was almost last.
Yeah, I think it might have been even Crutchlow. Someone was like 13th or 10th in the championship, something like that, or 8th. And then they'll, out of the 15.
Oh, you're talking about Honda as a hot fold.
Honda as a hot fold. And then
yeah.
Honda or Alberto Puig knew they had a problem then.
Yeah.
And then the last thing they need was Marquez to crash.
Yeah.
And hurt himself because then it's just game over. And then there's been no development of the bike because they just developed it around him.
Yeah.
So that's the start of all their problems.
But as a company, they needed to make changes. They couldn't just they can't just think Marquez forever. That's so stupid.
That's stupid. It's very short term.
Well, it's biting them in the ass now, isn't it?
Massively. And now he wants to leave. And so getting back to your point, he's damned if he does and damned if he don't. So
that's right.
Yeah.
I would love to see him, even like, an MV Augusta team was floated around or a Husky team.
But where does MV Augusta come from? Like, who owns MV Augusta?
KTM got 25%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which would be sick.
So MV Augusta have road bikes as well.
Yeah.
And really good road bikes.
Super Sport Championship.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Riveting.
Is that like the VFL?
Yeah.
Nah,
Northern Football League,
it's
Divi 12.
Yeah.
Nah, all jokes aside. All jokes aside. Yeah, I think I'm thinking I've had Husqvarna in my mind. I thought that would be a good fit, but you're right. Husqvarna don't make a road bike, so it's sort of useless, isn't it?
Yeah,
they do.
Oh,
yeah, that like Vitplin.
Yeah, I just Spark Pillon. Yeah, and adventure bike. And they're KTMs, man. There's fucking different KTMs.
Yeah.
But it would be amazing to see MV Augusta back in.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be amazing.
That'll be great. We'll catch fire.
Probably
every race. Still have electrical problems.
Yeah. Can't find parts for it.
So the gas. Yeah, I mean, so is gas staying gas?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's probably the weirdest one.
Well, yeah, they do not make. They definitely don't make a road bike.
Yeah, nah. They were a Spanish enduro dirt bike only 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny, yeah. I mean, KTM buying up all these brands, but they're all very similar brands, aren't they? They're just making a monopoly of the industry, the dirt bike industry.
Like Husqvarna back in the day were fucking terrible, man.
Pigs.
Yeah.
Electrical nightmares.
Yeah.
They weren't called Husqvarna, were they? They were called...
Husqvarna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were called something different.
No. Yeah, we wouldn't trade them back in the day.
Yeah.
It was
just
white,
more, black and red.
Plastic ones. Like the 2011 ones. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it.
You can't even get parts for them now. Like it's difficult to find parts for work.
It's just nightmare. Fuck that.
Anyway.
Tom.
Yes.
Throw it back.
2011 Canadian Grand Prix.
Take us on a journey.
Well, it was one of the most memorable mornings of my life, I think. Because I think the race kicked off about 11 a.m. About 3 a.m. And
you were up?
I was up. I was up with my old man watching it. It ended up being the longest race in Formula One history.
Do you know how long it went for?
Yeah, 8 hours or something.
Oh, no shit.
Bro, I think it was still going at like our time, like 10 a.m. And it was so weird to watch live Formula One at like 10 a.m. in the morning. I remember I had to work that day and I was like, no, I'm not going to work. So,
Fuck.
Yeah, I think because it would have been a Monday morning. And I reckon it was Queen's birthday weekend.
Okay.
Because I was working on the Monday.
And you weren't at school?
Wasn't at school. No, because it was Queen's birthday.
Yeah.
12th of June, which would have been Queen's birthday. So before the race, to put into context, it was a pretty open season. Vettel obviously was dominating to a certain extent, but it was still quite an open championship at that point. The race started behind a safety car, and then they went around a few laps. Safety car came in, and then Vettel built a lead. So then what happened was there was actually a collision between Hamilton and Rosberg. Sorry, Hamilton and and Button. So Button knocked off Hamilton's front wing. Drive-through penalty. All right. So
Hamilton knocked off Button's.
No, other way around.
Button.
Yeah. So Button put Hamilton out of the race. So I was already happy. So I was good. I was pumping. It was all good. So he got a drive-through penalty. He went all the way to the back of the pack.
Yeah.
Okay. So race went on. Button passed a countless amount of people throughout the field. Then had another accident with Alonso.
Fuck.
Another drive-through penalty.
Yeah.
Went all the way to the back of the grid. They're all on full wets at this point, raining.
There's been on and off raining, hasn't it?
On and off raining. He comes through the field, passes, I think, Webber and... Actually, we'll get it going here. So early in rain.
Oh,
he wasn't happy.
You know what? These cars are one of my favorite looking. That McLaren, and I even like that shape.
Yeah. 2011, 2012 was really good years.
It was really good looking cars.
Middle of the race, this is the red flag stoppage, and it went for like 4 hours of stoppage. I remember just sitting there waiting for...
Why was it went for so long?
Because it just did not stop raining.
So they've had wet tyre problems the whole time.
Look, Button picks up a puncture. He's back of the field like you wouldn't believe. Like
Yeah.
He's completely back of the field. He rejoined at last. Like this is already when he's already gone back to last place.
It's crazy. This is fucking nuts.
Yeah. 6 laps to go.
Look at the dry line, bro. It's so dangerous.
Yeah. So Button passes Webber, then passes Michael Schumacher for P2.
Throwback.
Yeah.
And he's back on slicks there. Oh, yeah, because of massive dry line. Oh.
And then this is the last lap. Boom. Vettel goes wide. Button comes through. Wins.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Jeez, that's a good win.
So after the race, he comes out and said it was the best win of his career.
Fair enough.
And yeah, just one of those like unbelievable races. It went for so long. And you never thought it was going to be restarted. And it was unusual back then. It just didn't really happen. The last couple of years, it seems like it's happened a few times.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Then But yeah, I haven't got really anything much more to say about that. Just a very memorable race for me in history of watching the sport.
How did you go for the rest of the championship, Jensen, that year?
Yeah, he was top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 in the championship. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was looking at the results.
Go on.
So Vettel... Oh, sorry. Button finished second that year in the championship.
Okay,
but complete domination by Vettel. Vettel won by 122 points that year.
That's right.
Yeah, so
another Red Bull domination. What a great surprise.
This is his season. First, second, first, second, fourth, second, first, third, first, retire, second.
Jeez, not bad.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There you go, huh? It was a great looking car. That Vodafone car. You seen it? They did that Vodafone McLaren around Bathurst.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's fucking cool.
That's pretty dope.
Oh, I like it. Should we do Where Are They Now?
Yeah, we've got a new segment for everyone. Drum roll, please. Where Are They Now? James Shaw edition.
James Shaw edition. So it's a bit of a homage to the riders/drivers of the past. Maybe people that have just loosely forgotten about. And, just talk about what they're doing now and, why they were so exciting, even if it's just for a few races that they were or past world champions, whatever it is. And my first one to kick things off is John Hopkins, ex-MotoGP racer, World Superbike rider, BSB rider, and now one of the team owners of team director, I think, of American Racing, which is actually kind of turning to shit at the moment.
Yeah.
I think a lot of their riders are leaving.
Yeah, well, Joe Roberts left last year.
Yeah.
To go to Idal Trans.
Yeah, which is like the same looking team.
Yeah, exactly.
And they look exactly the same.
So have they got a few teams in different categories, or is it just a Moto 2 team?
Moto 2.
Okay.
Moto 2?
Moto 2.
Yeah.
I think they might have a tie-in somewhere in...
3?
No. American Supers.
That would make sense.
I think. I could be wrong, but I think they got a tie-in somewhere.
And it's great that Hopkins is involved in this because I like having Americans up there.
Yeah.
I think it's good for the sport.
It's great for the sport.
Yeah. We need another Nicky Hayden or a Colin Edwards or, whoever. But yeah, John Hopkins, he rose onto the scene, I think, 01, 02. I think maybe 02.
Early days.
On I think it was a WCM Red Bull Yamaha.
That was a sick bike.
Very sick bike. We'll get into a 3-hour deep dive when Tom's not here
exactly.
on just that bike.
Feel free. Talk about superbikes as well. See, my memory from Johnny Hopkins is Suzuki. Am I...
he raced for Suzuki. Yeah.
That's my memory, and I think I had a poster of him on my wall when I was a kid.
Nice.
And I think he went to Kawasaki for a bit.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. Man, he had so much talent, and he was one of those guys where I reckon if he had a better bike back then, because I reckon the field was stacked, but it was like 2, 3, 4 good bikes actually on that grid, especially with the Honda start of those prototype 4-strokes.
I think with this new segment we've got going through these riders that were in the Rossi era, call it, there's going to be a lot of missed opportunities there.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a really good mini doco on him, I guess, through that Faster movie where they explain one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
They talk about John Hopkins and his rise through AMA Superbikes.
It'd be sick to rewatch those, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to make a night of that.
Yeah.
And just his rise through it, and even how well he was doing. Because remember, he started on a 500cc 2-stroke against the MotoGP 4-strokes. That was his first season.
Yeah.
I think the first time he scored points was at the Suzuka. I think it might have been his first round. Pissing down rain, crashed twice, picked it back up, but still scored a point or two.
That's mad.
So, dude was an absolute gun. Probably he should have got more, I reckon, for what it was. But then he had massive injuries. So there's one clip we got here of him at Assen, and this basically destroyed his legs. one of the fastest, most brutal crashes. We'll clip it in. I think you're ever going to see. And that corner, that left-hand corner at Aston is not where you want to crash because there's not much runoff.
Yeah. This is like this third last corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, look at that Kawasaki. It's just beat to hell.
Is that where Lorenzo had his crash with his collar?
Look, straight legs first into the wall.
Lucky legs first.
Man. Yeah, exactly right. Because you see him now and he's limping or he's on crutches.
From this?
From this, I believe, and he's had a few other injuries. Because he raced, I think, AMA and BSB afterwards. And he was the first American to actually win a British Superbike race.
You know what? You're right. That is one of the fastest crashes I've seen on a MotoGP bike. He must have lost it that early.
Yeah.
It's almost he must have lost it, then must have re-gripped or something like to go that fast into the barriers.
Gnarly.
There's a similar crash I saw with Nicky Hayden that he went straight through
top of the corkscrew.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking crazy. That one.
Get that going, just cause.
Yeah, get it up on the fucking.
Blow.
But while Dan's looking at that, another massive crash he had that really put him out is in 2009 World Superbikes. He got taken out by Mikado Tamada and Brock Parks.
Tomato what?
Mikado Tamada. He was unconscious for 10 minutes.
Jesus.
Yeah, for 10 minutes, man.
Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it wasn't.
Was it Aragon?
My apologies. I thought it was Laguna at the top of the.
Yeah, I thought it was. They
both got a corkscrew.
I thought it was. Yeah, this is James. I've talked about this crash before with you. Yeah, and I never could find this crash. This is the crash I've been talking about. That was one of the gnarliest crashes.
Yeah, another. If we're gonna go down a deep dive,
that's what I'm thinking.
Jack Miller.
The Jack Miller one. That one is the most brutal, craziest crash I've ever seen in the MotoGP bike.
Yeah, get that going while we're here.
The new segment's already been hijacked.
Yeah,
I know.
What do I see?
2 seconds.
But yeah, that's really just the main thing on John Hopkins is just how talented he was really, and how a few of those crashes can really impede your career, and probably just being on the wrong bike at the wrong time. Aval Bautista on MotoGP was very similar.
Literally just about to say.
Yeah.
Similar case.
And you see him now in World Supers, and the dude's dominating, obviously.
Yeah, there'd definitely be a portion in a lot of riders' minds that they've had missed opportunities throughout the year.
But it's, back in the start of 2003, whatever it was.
Because this re-gripped again.
Bro, this is crazy. That is so how did he walk away from that?
Bro, so many things could have gone wrong. Like, there's so many fucking sharp edges there. He could have gone over the barriers.
How he walked away from that and then kept riding, I don't know. Because there is zero chance I'd keep riding after that. Not that weekend. Count your lucky stars, huh?
100%, man.
Actually, there's a good clip where he talks about what was going through his mind when he crashed that bike.
Get it up. No, I'm just kidding, man. It's all good.
What's your earliest memories of John Hopkins back in the day, Dan?
Probably the Yamaha. The Red Bull.
That Red Bull bike was fucking
awesome,
sick.
Man.
It would have been the first Red Bull kind of sponsorship in the sport as well.
I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think you could be right there.
Because you saw a lot of that, like 03 to 05. There was little snippets of Red Bull coming through.
And he had a Red Bull helmet, the silver and blue helmet back in the day as well.
That's when you know you made it too, if you're a Red Bull athlete.
Oh, man. Fuck yeah.
Especially back then.
Yeah. OG.
But then, I actually used to play with, use his character a lot on MotoGP 08 on the Quacker. It was so good.
Yeah, he's the man. I've always been a big John Hopkins fan. So yeah, now he's just trying to do, I guess, what Rossi's doing at the same time of just getting the American talent up.
Yeah, it's smart.
Which I love to see. And hopefully they get someone. The Americans have had a good go at trying to get into GP, but Josh Herron had a crack on Moto2, got fucking demolished.
Yeah.
By Pedro Acosta. Might have been. No, Mark Marquez. Sorry.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
That's a hard field to go into.
Yeah.
If you're especially not in the Grand Prix circuit.
But it's funny, Herron, he's not even racing supers.
Nah. He's in AMA, isn't he?
Yeah, but as in he's not racing the thousands.
Yeah, he's in
on the V2.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It is weird.
But there's a good a little series on the American racing team.
Okay.
And there's some real good interviews with Hopper.
Yeah, man, I'll have to look it up.
He's a legend, but...
Yeah. He's a man. Boys, tips?
Let's do it.
James is wrapping us up. It's a bloody miracle.
Yeah, I know.
Tell me about it.
I'm saving myself when Tom's on.
Yeah, when he's gone, we'll just... Gonna need a bigger iPhone.
Oh, yeah. I'll be dissecting each livery, Tom.
What are they, just before we go into tips?
Jesus.
What they come... they come out and... Miguel Oliveira's come out today and said something... I saw some... Do you guys catch any of that? Something about him being overweight or something?
No.
No? Okay.
Nah, I've not seen that.
Because he's going to be my tip for this week. Miguel Oliveira to win.
Miguel?
Yeah.
That's a good tip. I like that.
And it's a very much a... Again...
This is an Aprilia track.
Aprilia track.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, you know what, though? He'll fucking get taken out.
Yeah.
So,
seriously.
Oliveira to win. Actually, it's going to be... And then it's going to be Espargaro second. And then we're going to have... Quartararo third.
Oh, that's a real different one.
Jesus
Christ. All right, an F1.
Fuck. Max Verstappen to win.
Standard.
Gasly second.
I like that.
And Hamilton third.
Yeah. Don't like that.
What about you, big man?
F1 Max. I like the Gasly call. Honestly, I'm going to repeat this week's podium.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can have it either way for Alonso and
Yep.
Gasly. But, yeah, that'll be F1's. GP. Pecco. Martin. Binder. Miguel Best of the rest.
Yep. Miguel's got to come out. It's his time to shine. His time to shine. Jimmy?
F1, Red Bull 1-2, fucking Verstappen, Perez, Hamilton, third. GP, I'm going to go Martin.
At the home track.
Martin, Bagnaia, Espargaro, third.
Yeah.
To, come back from his demons from last year.
Early.
Yeah, celebrating a lap early.
I think we underrate the Aprilia on this channel. I think it's wrong.
You boys talk up.
I reckon the bike itself.
The bike's.
I've always said the bike's great.
Yeah, the bike's better than the riders.
Yeah, correct.
The bike's better than the riders.
Yes.
Go to like episode 1 or 2. I'm pretty sure I said Fabio needs to be on that bike.
Yeah.
That's if they're going to win, that's who they need.
Yeah.
But we talk about this Ducati Cup and Ducati bike dominating, but I don't think their Aprilia's that far behind.
No, it's not.
No,
and I don't think the KTM's
too
too far behind either. I think they just need. I think they need an X factor.
Yeah, but Binder's outperforming that bike, I reckon, as well.
Yeah, because I was watching and I was like, KTM have come such a long way, but then you could still see the Ducati streaking away last round.
Especially that second corner. Yeah. Out of that chicane.
Yeah.
Fuck, it was like a 10th every lap.
It was crazy.
How you can't pass if you're losing a 10th every lap.
So that's where the KTM dropped, like I dropped them as
That's fair call.
progression. But they're still obviously a lot better than where they were. But yes, Aprilia's definitely not too far off.
Sneaky Marquez top 6.
Oh.
Maybe more of a chance in a sprint race than the main race.
Yeah, that's probably better.
You can't crash again, surely.
Yeah, probably. It's fucking Marc Marquez, man. He'll launch himself in orbit.
Him and Mia can walk hand in hand out of the gravel trap.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Tom's searching something up.
Yes. So, Oliveira retired last week.
Yeah.
Because he had the brakes were heating up so much because of the high braking track, and they didn't have the weight right, that's where the weight thing come from. So,
he wasn't having too many donuts.
I was going to say he's a little fella, isn't he?
They're all little fellas.
There you go.
All right, boys.
All right. Cheers. One more thing. No. See ya. Thanks, guys.
See yous.
They are.